Hello, my name is Mae Abdelghani. I'm going to talk about Palestine and the separation wall. It all started in May 15, 1948, when Britain decided to give Palestine, a country that was not theirs, to the Israelis. Hundreds of thousands of people came by ships. All the suffering started then. Palestinians were kicked out of their houses, and their lands were taken. Killing was their simplest task. Some Palestinians ran to other countries, while others had to hide in the mountains. Till this day, the suffering of Palestinians continued, especially for children. Now they are used to have weapons pointed to their bodies, and they are used to waking up in the middle of the night having soldiers at their houses. So I'm going to talk about this picture. That boy is called Muhammad al-Durra. He was shot, him and his father, but he did not survive. His father did. This boy was shot and he's dead. He was shot because he did not fear tanks. So they were afraid that he's going to grow up and maybe do something to them. These are children who were stopped from going to school. And this kid, he was taken from his school while he was in his class. They don't care if he was like 1 or 2 years old. That kid is almost 3 years old or 4. Palestinians' simplest human right and freedom have been taken away. This freedom is taken by a wall that has separated them from their families. In this paper, I'm going to talk about this wall, how miserable living inside the borders of that wall, and how the only solution is to take it down. When I talk about the separation wall, you might think of the Berlin Wall. Well, both have the same goal. The only difference is that Berlin was only 96 miles long with a height of 11.8 feet, while the Israeli wall is at least 403 miles long with a height of 25 feet, and it covers the West Bank. So here it shows the difference between the Berlin Wall and the Israelis. The separation wall has been taken away the Palestinians' freedom, and it prohibits them from seeing their families. Many lands and houses were taken to build this wall. The freedom movement had been taken away. It had limited the access of Palestinians to go to the nearby hospitals. Palestinians also suffer of the educational system, because most schools depend on teachers who live outside the barrier. And also many students that are outside the barrier find difficulty going through checkpoints every day to get to the university. Mentioning checkpoints are even worse than the wall itself. Palestinians that live outside of the wall are the only ones that can pass through it. The checkpoint doesn't even look like it was built for humans. It almost looks like it was built for animals. These are the checkpoints. And because I used to live outside the barrier, I was allowed to cross through it. It was really hard to see or take your sisters or brothers through it. It's kind of not humanity. What do you think the solution is?
Take it down.
The only solution is to take down the wall and live in peace. No one can take anyone's freedom away, and no one should prohibit anyone to see their family. Taking the wall should make everything easier, as going to their jobs in no time, instead of waiting on the checkpoints for hours. It will also unite families. The Palestinians will be able to travel. It is going to make it easier to go to schools, but most importantly is to be able to go to hospitals and save lives. Talking about the wall is important to me because I have experience living inside that wall for a year. And believe me, it was It was horrible. It was like prison, but in a bigger area. And experiencing going through the checkpoints was humiliating and made me very angry. Not a lot of people even know this wall. Israel controls the media. That's why I'm sure no one knows what's going on in Palestine. So I think talking about it may have the world's attention to take a step. So I did live in that wall for a year. And before I lived there, me and my husband couldn't see each other when we were engaged, and it was hard for us to meet or anything. So I had to go through that checkpoint once a week, and it was even hard for us to go to my parents' house. We couldn't go together to my parents' house. So my parents had to come to my house, me and my husband's house, and visit us.
Thank you,
Thank
Mae.
you.
That was super interesting. Thank you so much. It's interesting to hear about things I think that we as Americans have no idea about.